My name is Fatih Ak. I am the Turkish ambassador to Uganda. I am here since February. First of all, I would like to greet all our viewers and thank UBC for giving me this opportunity. I'm 51 years old. I am married. I have a daughter. She's 22 years old. She's at the university now. Since I came here 7 months ago, with my wife, we are fascinated with the hospitality extended to us in Uganda. Upon my arrival on 1st February, I assumed my duties as of 15 February, in just 2 weeks. This, I believe, demonstrates the close and friendly relations between our two countries. Turkey-Africa relations gained considerable momentum over the last 20 years under the leadership of President Erdogan. We currently have 44 embassies in Africa, and we aim to reach 50 embassies in the near future. This number was only 12 in 2005. This is an apparent outcome of our policy to stand with African peoples in their quest for further development and prosperity, with all the help of wide diplomatic representation all around the continent. In this context, the opening of our embassy in Kampala in 2010 clearly demonstrates my government's strong will to enhance and deepen our bilateral relations. I am the 4th ambassador serving in Kampala. Our embassy is here to enhance our bilateral relations in every field, support the development and welfare of the Ugandan people, and increase people-to-people contacts. In line with this understanding, in addition to career diplomats, in our embassy we have commercial consular, interior affairs consular, and military attaché who are working on ways and means to enhance our bilateral relations in their respective fields. There is also the Turkish Development and Cooperation Agency's office in Kampala, which has successfully implemented projects around Uganda. The most concrete example of our developing relations with Africa in general and Uganda in particular is the rapidly increasing trade figures on the basis of win-win principle. Our total trade with the continent increased from $5.4 billion in 2003 to $41 billion by the end of 2022. With Uganda, it was slightly below $100 million in 2022, which certainly is far from reflecting the real potential of our countries. Therefore, an essential part of my daily routine is pushing hard to open new avenues of cooperation in trade and economic relations. In this context, I am working to boost exchange of trade delegations between our countries. Recently, last May, Antalya Organized Industrial Zone delegation visited Kampala. Now we are working on the visit of a business delegation to Turkey in October. In this context, members of Uganda Manufacturers Association will participate in Turkey-Africa Business Forum, which will be held in Istanbul. Then the delegation will have contacts in the city of Konya. Answering calls and replying emails from the business people of both countries about possible trade and investment opportunities both in Uganda and Turkey is also an important part of our daily work at the embassy. and of course, issuing visas to the Ugandans. On the visa issue, I take this opportunity to clarify a few points. As you may know, last Friday, a statement was issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Uganda concerning the Ugandans who are currently in detention centers in my country. I think that statement truly reflects the current situation. I should add that our country is under intense immigration pressure as it's both a destination and a transit country, and our public is following the irregular migration issue closely. Migration has become one of the most important political agenda items in Turkey. In this context, it's of great importance to encourage people to come and stay in our country on legal grounds is of great importance. I assure our viewers that, and the Ugandan public, that those in detention centers are approached with utmost sensitivity, and they will be safely back home as soon as the legal procedures are completed. Ugandan Embassy in Ankara, my ministry, and our relevant authorities are working closely to this end. We receive visa applications and continue to happily issue visas to Ugandan citizens here in Kampala through the Turkish route company, which is located in Nakawa. I invite everyone who would like to visit my country to develop business relations or to receive health care or to go to Turkey for touristic purposes, as long as they fulfill the requirements. I sincerely believe that more interaction between our people is the key to further develop our relations in all fields. Turkish Airlines, in this respect, has been playing a crucial role since a long time. We have daily flights between Entebbe and Istanbul, two of them with wide-body planes. I am proud that we are not only carrying Ugandans to Turkey, but also connecting Uganda to the rest of the world via Istanbul. Last but not least, let me also draw attention to the Turkish contractors which are active in Uganda currently. Colin İnşaat completed the rehabilitation project of Hoima-Kayso-Tonya Road. Gülsan is building Apak-Lira-Pranga Road. Polat-Yol is building Muyumbe-Nakapiripirit Road. And yet, we are awaiting the good news in the coming weeks for the Malaba-Kampala Standard Gauge Railway projects, which I believe will be a game changer, not only for the Ugandan economy, but also the whole East Africa region. The second phase of this project will be connecting Kampala to Kasese. So we are talking about a giant project, a railway passing through Uganda on the east-west axis. I do not doubt that Yapı Merkezi, which has already proved itself as a capable and reliable company in building SGRs in Africa, will successfully accomplish this project as well, and we will see the concrete contribution of this project to the Ugandan economy in the coming years. Turkish business people, when we talk, tell me that a container from Turkey comes to Mombasa for $1,900 and then from Mombasa to Kampala for $4,000. Ugandan economy certainly needs this critical investment to drop the freight costs to boost its trade with its neighbors and the rest of the world. So let's cross our fingers and wait the good news. As earlier mentioned, our Turkish Development and Cooperation Agency in Kampala has completed 69 projects so far since the early 2000s, and this number will reach 76 next year, as of end of this year. I learned that the office is willing to complete 15 projects in 2024. Our support for Uganda's development is not limited with TICA. Various Turkish NGOs have been active in Uganda for a long time. I do not doubt that our viewers have recently come across at least one. Water wells, health equipment, educational materials, sports equipment, mosques, vocational training, and many others. For example, during the Eid al-Adha last June, we hosted more than 20 Turkish NGOs in Uganda. I estimate they have slaughtered over 10,000 cattle and distributed them as meat packages throughout Uganda. Let me also share with our viewers that Turkey has provided more than 15,000 scholarships for African students, 325 of whom are Ugandans so far. For the 2023-24 education year, we granted 20 scholarships to Ugandan undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctorate students. I invite all Ugandan students to follow our announcements for the online applications for these scholarships. Our notifications can be quickly followed through our website and Twitter account. You will find their addresses if you simply Google them. On the other hand, Turkish entrepreneurs have been creating job opportunities for Ugandans in various fields like manufacturing, construction sector, and agriculture. Uganda-Turkey Business Summit was held in Kampala on May 2022. The summit was hosted by His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The summit was co-organized by the Foreign Economic Relations Board of Turkey, that's STEIC, and Uganda Investment Authority. More than 700 Turkish and Ugandan business people attended the summit in order to promote investment, trade, and tourism between our countries. It was a very successful event. In my first week in Kampala, we faced a devastating earthquake disaster in Turkey, where we lost more than 50,000 citizens. I'm sure all our viewers will recall it. We were touched by the support provided by the African countries, including Uganda, during those difficult days. This has been indeed a testament to our people's sincere and heartfelt bonds. Taking this opportunity, I would like to thank His Excellency President Museveni, the Ugandan government, and the Ugandan people once again. We will never forget it. During my tenure, I wish to realize the following. I would like to increase reciprocal high-level visits between our countries. President Erdogan visited Uganda in 2016. We need to hold the third meeting of Turkey-Uganda Joint Economic Commission in Kampala. This meeting will enable us to discuss the challenges we face in developing our trade relations. Signing two crucial agreements which we have been negotiating so far is of utmost importance in this regard as well. One is avoidance of double taxation, and the other one is investment, promotion and protection of investments. These two agreements should be signed in order to complete the legal basis to promote our business and investment relations. So I will do my best to finalize these two agreements so that they will be ready to be signed in the next high-level visit. We also need to keep the momentum we have reached so far in the field of Turkish contractors' investments in the infrastructure of Uganda. We need to also attract more Turkish companies in the manufacturing field. Know-how transfer and joint investment in the field of tourism is another area which we can cooperate. Last year, Turkey hosted almost 50 million tourists. That clearly demonstrates that this is an ample area where Uganda and Turkey can cooperate. Another important event is in the coming days. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the proclamation of our Republic. Therefore, we will give a remarkable National Day reception. We will host a remarkable National Day reception in Kampala on 30th October. So we are working on it, and the preparations are going on for this big event. Turkey stands with Uganda in her quest for further development and prosperity. Our understanding is that this is certainly not a teacher-student relation, but a strong partnership among equals. That's why Turkish people, our NGOs and business people have been welcomed here, and that's why our bilateral relations are flourishing in every field. We will continue with this understanding. I want to reiterate that the Turkish embassy in Uganda will resolutely continue to work to enhance the bilateral relations between our countries for the good of our peoples. Before finishing, let me elaborate a bit about the visa issue in Uganda. We have a Turkish company called Turkish Route located in Nakawa. You can easily reach the visa requirements, how you will apply, which documents you should bring, and the rest of the procedure. I hear from time to time that there are people manipulating the Ugandans, giving them wrong promises that they will ease the visa process and they will get their visas quickly. I would like to assure our viewers that no commissioner, no other institution or person is in a position to issue visas apart from our embassy. We are not in a position to be manipulated or given credit to any company. Turkish Route Company is the sole authority with the Turkish embassy to give the decision on visas. If we can continue issuing visas and sending them to Turkey, the right people on legal grounds, we will gradually see that the visa processes will be also more relaxed, and the Ugandan people will be able to get their visas with less procedures and in a short period of time. But for that, both sides have some responsibilities. After elaborating this, I also would like to mention that our embassy here is working in a rented property. One of my projects in my tenure in the coming years will be building a new Turkish embassy which truly reflects our relations and the power of my country. In that respect, I have been contacting with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Uganda. We proposed exchange of lands in Kampala and in Ankara for our embassies. This is one option. If we are given land here in Kampala, in a central place, we are ready to provide Uganda land in Ankara for the construction of the Ugandan embassy in Ankara. Another option is that we buy ourselves land here in Kampala, and we will build our embassy premises ourselves. This will be one of my important challenges here in the coming periods. I thank His Excellency President Museveni and His Excellency President Recep Tayyip Erdogan for what they have done so far for the improvement of our bilateral relations. I once again thank the Ugandan community and my fellow citizens for their cooperation and hospitality they have extended to me since February. I also thank UBC for giving me this opportunity to tell the journey of the Turkish embassy to the Ugandan public. Lastly, I wish good health, prosperity, and peace to the Ugandan people. Mukama Abakume.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
I'm very appreciative to the government of Uganda for the support it has given this school. First of all, it is paying 16 government teachers, and it's bringing in UPE funds that has partly helped the school. Formerly, the school was not like as it is now. We have put some good face. We have planted trees around the compound. We even have a banana plantation, very, very good looking. We have 16 government teachers and 10 private teachers. Those private teachers are paid by the government.
I was here in 1991, 1997. It became a model school in 95. That's when it was changed from Kazo Primary School to Kazo Model School. I am a beneficiary of UPE. Government paid for me in 1997 when I was here as a student of this school.
on the journey of AGOA. One of the things that first happened was to train over 2,000 girls.
So there were many problems for investors at the time I joined Uganda Investment Authority. And our role was to identify them.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
What kind of drones can blow pests off crops, keep ducks together, and be a matchmaker for crops? Drone expert Zhu Zhaochun will answer these questions. Stay tuned to China Farm and check out his story.
Hi everyone, this is China Farm. In recent years, agricultural drones has helped with crop and plant protection around the world. There is a huge amount of crop protection tasks in China. Drones, therefore, have become increasingly popular here. More and more Chinese farmers have begun to use drones. One of them is Zhu Zhaochun from Yancheng City, Jiangsu Province. For a drone expert like him, drones can do much more than just spray pesticides.
This is an integrated rice and duck farming system. When the tillering comes to an end, the ducks go into the paddies to enjoy their feast of pests.
Proper utilization of the wind and sound helps us to herd the ducks into the rice paddies so they can eat the pests.
Now that the ducks are in the rice paddies and feasting on the pests, why is the drone still flying? It's because the drone must keep working to ensure that there are always enough pests for the ducks. This knowledge comes from his years of experience. At first, a simple flight above the rice field will blow the pests into the water.
The drone flies about half a meter above the field, creating a vertical downdraft that blows the pests off of the crops.
On the upper part of rice plants. With all the pests ending up in the water, it should have been easier for the ducks to eat them. However, Zhu Jiaochun found it wasn't that easy. Some of the pests are quite resilient and can quickly make their way back, still out of the reach of the ducks.
I've observed that once the vertical downdraft blew the pests off, some get stuck in the water. While others simply go back to the upper or middle part of the rice plants.
After a few setbacks, Zhu Jiaochun came up with a solution. After the drone drives the ducks into the rice field, it continues to hover above the ducks.
We typically leave the drone running. It flies above the field and constantly blows off the pests. In this way, the pests will be eaten before they have the chance to escape.
The drone follows the ducks. Even if the pests go back, they won't stay long before blown off again. After a few rounds, even the most robust pests will surrender to their destiny of becoming the ducks' breakfast. Ducks in the field and a drone above the field make it impossible for the pests to escape. The ducks get to enjoy a good meal. Using a drone to help the ducks eat the pests is efficient, but Zhu Jiaochun reminds you to choose the suitable model of drone. A lesson he learned from a mistake. At first, he used a single propeller aquaculture drone. It was a bad idea, because the downdraft it creates is too strong and loud, which will frighten the ducks. Now Zhu Jiaochun uses a multi-propeller agricultural drone. Its downdraft is not as strong, and the noise is smaller too. It can blow the pests off without scaring the ducks off. The operation is more flexible and ideal for herding the ducks. Although a single propeller drone is not for driving ducks, it can improve the air circulation in the field to prevent plant diseases. The two worst diseases of rice are sheath blight and rice blast. Both are likely to occur when the air circulation is poor. Rice plants are prone to blast when temperatures exceed 35 degrees Celsius and the humidity exceeds 70%.
This panicle necknode is infected with rice blast. It usually occurs at the bottom of a panicle. It turns black when infected and dies. So there will be no grain filling, and you will only get empty hulls.
Production can decrease by 40 to 50% from rice blast. The worst case scenario is a total crop failure. When the temperature is above 20 degrees Celsius and the humidity above 85%, the chance of sheath blight significantly increases. Sheath blight affects grain filling and leads to more empty hulls. Severe rice sheath blight causes lodging and withering. Most rice fields today are under a dense canopy, making air circulation poor around the lower parts. The summer heat increases evaporation. The trapped vapor leads to excessive heat and humidity, making rice vulnerable to blast and sheath blight. After learning about the harm of heat and humidity at the lower part of rice plants, Zhu Jiaochun began to fly the single propeller drone above the field several times a day.
How it works is it generates a downdraft that delivers fresh air to the bottom of the rice fields.
Lowering the temperature and humidity. This way, diseases like rice blast and sheath blight can be prevented or mitigated. Apart from getting rid of pests and improving air circulation, his drone also works as a matchmaker. The drone operates differently. Only above the higher plants. Because this is a breeding ground for hybrid rice. The drone can be a matchmaker for rice plants because the wind it generates helps with pollination. It only flies above the higher plants because these are paternal plants. The lower plants are maternal. When the rice is flowering, the pollen of the paternal and maternal plants mate for fertilization. That is how breeding works. In the past, the matchmaker was a rope. Two people stand on the opposite sides of the field, swaying the rope in the same direction. Pollen on the paternal plants comes off and meets the maternal plants. This method is certainly not as fun as it looks.
It's very tiring.
It's exhausting. We're all sweating buckets.
Rope pulling pollination is labor intensive. It's usually performed when there is most pollen, which happens to be the hottest hours of the day.
Rice requires a certain degree of sunlight and temperature to flower. It usually flowers between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.
When the temperature in Yancheng is around 37 degrees Celsius. For better pollination, farmers must pull the rope in the scorching heat. However, the result is hardly ideal. With the rope pulling method, only 35% of plants can be successfully fertilized. Can pollination be easier and more effective? That's when the agricultural drone comes to the rescue.
Drone pollination drives the pollen further.
As the drone flies, the pollen on the paternal plants comes off instantly. What's more, the drone can also distribute pollen more evenly, leading to more efficient pollination.
Here you can see the milky substance. It's at the grain filling stage.
The filling of grains on the maternal plants indicates successful pollination.
With drone pollination, at least 50% of the maternal plant's grains can be filled.
A single propeller drone generates a unique vertical downdraft, which is strong and steady. It frees more pollen from the paternal plants and provides a more even distribution, increasing the pollen's chance of landing on a maternal plant. Therefore, more grains are filled. A 15% growth in filled grains translates into at least 200 yuan more profit for every mu or every 667 square meters. A significant profit increase for a seed production company with thousands of mu fields. Using drones for pollination increases the rate of seed setting and saves a lot of manual work.
A drone's efficiency is equivalent to 20 people pulling on a rope.
With the traditional method, 2 people can finish at most 20 mu in 2 hours, while the drone's efficiency is equal to that of 8 people.
One drone can complete the pollination of around 80 mu of fields in one day.
Apart from rice cultivation, Zhu Jiaochun also uses drones for a local specialty, Gorgon plants. It helps a lot with planting Gorgon plants.
It's the Gorgon plant flower. The flower comes to the surface for pollination. After that, it will go back into water. The fruit is grown in the water. Their fruit is usually found near the flowers. It's easy to locate. Here, you can see the withering flower. Below is the fruit. I saw a big one. I'll get it. Look! Gorgon fruit.
The Gorgon fruit looks like a chicken's head, so the locals call it chicken head rice. Gorgon fruit is popular in Yancheng. The fresh fruit can sell for around 100 yuan per 500 grams. Each mu can produce 75 kilograms. The total profit is around 15,000 yuan. Gorgon plant cultivation brings high economic returns, but not many people are engaged in this business because the plant is vulnerable to disease and pests. Their leaves are so brittle that a slight touch will cause damage.
The leaves are super brittle. They feel like potato chips. Listen to the cracking sound. So brittle.
The farmers must be cautious while spraying pesticides. The leaves break easily. When the leaves are broken, bacteria in the water will infect them, which leads to more damage. A short time later, they will rot. Then the whole plant will be infected and rot.
After that, the leaf, the stem, and the fruit will all rot.
It has a rotten smell. This plant is so fragile.
Paradoxically, production would reduce without pesticides. Spraying pesticides, however, will damage the leaves, reducing production even more. For a long time, Gorgon was treated by people entering the pond, wearing heavy backpack sprayers. This is tough work. The bottom of the pond is covered with silt, which is difficult to walk on. The sprayer only makes it worse.
It's too heavy. I have to multitask in the pond.
Spraying requires both strength and delicacy. the cultivation of Gorgon plants was so difficult that it pushed farmers away despite its high economic returns. The agriculture drone, however, makes all the difference. First, drones are not affected by silt. Spraying is much easier in the air.
A person with a backpack sprayer can only finish around 20 mu daily. Very inefficient. But a drone can finish spraying over 400 mu a day, 20 times more efficient than manual spraying.
Chinese farmers like Zhu Zhaochun, along with fellow farmers in Africa and Arab countries, think and innovate. As drone technology continues to upgrade, more functions are on the way to serve farmers around the world. Thank you for watching China Farm. See you next time.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Living a safe life is your right and responsibility in our communities.
They should have an eye checkup once a year.
First activity that we conduct is getting these young girls or women from the danger that they are facing and bringing them into this home.
Most people, the skin doesn't go off. It stopped renewing itself about 5 years ago. We make sure we follow the skin cycle.
Join me, Ishime Kathy, every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. as we discuss matters of